This topic is based on speech. Um, you hear a lot about this topic because normally people who have speech impediments or anything like that, they work through it or they stay quiet. You don't hear a lot about it because they're probably teased as kids or throughout their lives. So for me, in my own field, working as an artist and trying to make this my full-time gig, one thing that really makes me nervous for me, someone who went through speech problems since I was a kid. We'll get more into that in a second. But how that affects me now as an adult trying to explore this art industry. Because if you guys know art, galleries and all type of situations, you have to speak well, gotta be the best at that and not have any issue. Because if you start having issues with your speech and then they see your self-confidence go down and they're not trusting in you, then your art is not being spoke of and for me, my work is based on the meaning. So, if they're focused on my speech is not correct, then how can they really relate or take in what I'm saying about my work, So for me, speech was always a issue for me. Now getting to where I'm getting to is that I started speech class when I started school because prior to school, I had several speech issues. So it would be from stuttering where I couldn't even say a word, long eyes, long everything. It was always a problem. And then from there, I lisp when I was nervous, or what else? Anything you think of with speech issues, I pretty much had it. I remember as a kid, my cousins, my family is a family of love them, but they're assholes. I have that in me as well. But like funny, talk shit, I got from Philadelphia, but we talk a lot of shit, that's how we are. Even as kids, I grew up surviving because my older cousins were just not physical, but like talk shit about anything. You can be fat, you can be anything you can pick out on you. They gonna talk about your nose, your teeth, or whatever, or one long tooth, whatever you want to talk about. They had something for you. So as being who I was, first being a very young black child who showed tendencies of, I guess, feminine qualities, and in our community, being feminine is a negative for some reason. That was a chop to my situation. They didn't really get into that part of me, but that goes into school. You know what I'm saying? So then the main thing was my speech. I couldn't even react to what they were saying because I couldn't get the first word out because so I was like I or you. It could be a long situation. So it kind of actually trained me to be a quiet person. I'm a very mellow person. I'm a Leo, because I should be crazy and, extra, but, for me, I've always been a very timid, shy person because, foremost, my speech was a big problem, so I really couldn't express myself in other ways because that always been a problem for me to do so because I couldn't really speak, and these issues are normally pushed down like a lot of situations, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it really took a bite out of my expression, because it's such a easy thing you can pick someone on for. So, from there, now going to art where you have to be almost a public speaker and speak what you're saying via your art and tell them this, that, and the third. You have this blockage. Now, yes, you might hear me now. I might sound pretty normal. But my issues with speech still comes out. When I'm nervous, I normally have a lisp. I am heavy tongue, or I might stutter when I'm talking too fast because I'm from Philadelphia. So also with that too, you're from a city that talks really, really fast. Stuttering is not the business. It's not the business. So, coming from that kind of background, it made me very, very nervous because from kindergarten to junior high, I still took speech because it was still always a problem. Because I would take the classes almost every day with my speech teacher. But still outside of class, I wasn't speaking as much because I'm still trying to survive out here, being, what my sexuality seemed like at that time, or my speech, my size, had glasses, a lot of things going on. That wasn't the move, So it made me a very quiet person, and that affected where I was socially and with my peer group, with school, public speaking, being nervous as crap, reading out loud, all those things. It became a issue for me, and it kind of traveled into my adulthood. You know what I'm saying? And for me, a lot of kids with this issue, I normally really have to fight to get out of it, because it's literally crippling to their spirit, to their growth, to their creativity, and for me, and it's living in society. You have to talk and communicate with people every day. Can you imagine like you having a voice, not be able to use it or nervous to use it? And a lot of people don't understand that part of it is that, you're constantly correcting yourself and making sure that you don't mess up or, say things weird. Especially like I said, when you come from a place like Philadelphia, when people talk really fast. So, I lost my life in speech class and took a lot out of me, honestly. But it was great, but, and then I'm clearly not as bad as I may think I am in my head, but still always been a constant war battle internally with that. And, I feel like it need to be discussed more, and people need to be more open to these issues with that, because it is a really hard situation. My father been through that, my aunts. I don't know if it's a generational thing. I don't know what the case is, but it's should be talked about more often. So for me as an artist, it affects me. Still affects me now, because I still have issues with speaking out loud to people. Even doing this filming now, I don't do this. This is like I guess maybe I did it maybe 4 times 6 years ago, like this, documenting my art journey, and I started this now. Now it's almost 2020, and this is my second video. So, I was like, I'm trying, I'm working on it, I'm looking at the camera, I'm getting better with it. But if I can't communicate via, other ways, this is a good start to train myself. Like I train myself to speak better and work on that, because that was hard. So I have other battles, but speech took me a decade or 2 to really get it, a home run. Hopefully, you guys think I'm doing well with my speech. So I feel like there should be more dialogue on that, and on helping people and not teasing them and hurting them, because it is a battle that they can't help, and it takes a long time to get out of it, So that's pretty much it. That was my topic for the moment, how that relates to speech, relates to art, and hope that, did something. So, bye.